Welcome to another Sunday episode of Bad Creators. See your smooth talking this. It is a Sunday, one of your old Sundays 80 shows. But no, we gotta hype it up. So what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another
Like we doing some
episode.
ASMR stuff going on right
Right?
now. What's happening in this stream? Yeah.
I gotta hold the coffee cup like, yeah, so let's go ahead. Just smooth. We're gonna slow it down for me.
I need an official mic, man. Y'all got these nice boom mics. Sitting there talking on a headset.
Oh, you sound good though.
Oh, good. I'm
You
glad.
sound good. But
That's all that matters.
But look at your branding though, man. That's where it really goes. Like everything else, you got it going, man.
That's
I'm
right.
telling you, that sign back there.
Drop down ceilings. I can't pay the electric bill for this show. Look, the electric bill barely on. I got one light on.
Gosh, when I was in retail back in the 90s, man, that's what the small stores were. There, those drop-in ceilings, and they would get stained. Right, remember for the air conditioning units would like leak, and they would you'd always see those
that
brown stains. Yeah.
Yep.
Uh,
That's great.
Oh, look at
that
that mic cover. See, dude, that's the
Gotta show
T-shirt.
off the sign.
That's the T-shirt I want right there. I want that one.
Or you want this one, the Wawa Hoagie Fest?
No.
Every time.
He wants that. What's the turkey one that they do? The gobbler.
Yes.
Right?
That was great.
Boy, talk about localized. Anybody outside of New Jersey and Pennsylvania had no idea about the gobbler,
Right?
Or Hoagie Fest, or Wawa for that matter.
Look,
That's funny.
Wawa is the thing. Like East Coast, Wawa is your place to go for some good sandwiches. Now they got burgers and fries. And
What do you got out there, Brian? You got the Quick Check, or what's your
We got Burgerville.
Burgerville?
Yeah,
what would be like your gas station convenience store type place that has food in it?
We got the 7-Elevens. I mean,
they have
7-Eleven,
gas there.
applied pantries.
Or
Yeah,
Sheetz?
that kind of stuff. The basics. We don't have anything fun.
Yeah.
nothing exciting.
Come to East Coast. We got a lot of fun stuff over here.
Yeah, we got In-N-Out. We got In-N-Out.
Dude, In-N-Out. Forget about it. I love an In-N-Out burger.
We just got a new one real close by, so we're about
That's dangerous.
30 minutes away. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's very dangerous. They're a close. I love. He's like, we got one real close by, about 30 minutes away.
Well, the next closest,
I'm not getting in my car for a 30-minute burger. That's
the next closest one would have been Vegas.
Depends on how hungry you are.
That's right.
Yeah, it depends on how hungry you are. But you know what? In-N-Out's probably worth the ride, because you ever have an In-N-Out burger, Dante?
No. You know what? I will be trying one come this August because I will be.
You get a double-double. Get a double-double. Oh.
You know what's up.
Don't go any bigger. Once you
style?
get any bigger than a double-double, it's just a stack of meat. You can go 8 by 8. You don't want to do that. That's like the Garfield. It's like
They got a secret.
burger.
That's right. They got a secret menu too. There's like these different things like animal styles and all different kinds of things you can say behind the scenes and get you set up. I love it.
They're good though.
All right, so this show has already wildly devolved into everything. But welcome to IE Creators. We're here to have fun. I couldn't do the show without Mr. Damien and Steph. How y'all doing?
Doing all right, man. Doing all right. We're living it. Living the dream.
Down there.
I know. You always got to remember which way to point. It's always opposite. I'm getting good at it now.
That's right.
Something like that. Well, let's welcome our guest, Brian Burke from VonBurkeStudios.
What's up, guys?
How you doing?
I'm good, man. Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited. I go on vacation this week on Tuesday to Disneyland, taking the daughter to Disneyland. So this is a really nice kickoff for that. So thank you so much. Appreciate it.
That's it, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, 80 degrees. 80 degrees in Cali. It's not a bad time to be there, so it's not gonna be too bad. Yeah.
Hey, do you need a black son to go to Disneyland with you?
The what?
Let's
go. Let's go. Come on.
Is your new name Todd McFarlane, Brian?
Never.
Articulation.
I love callbacks. You know that. We're gonna bring up microwave resin curing today. We've been doing it for 5 weeks.
Microwave resin curing. What is that?
This one's still holding up.
Oh man.
So yeah, Brian. I guess Dante found something online. I'm going to bring it up 5 weeks in a row. Brian, Dante found something online about that you could cure resin prints in a microwave.
Really?
And he just happens to have a spare microwave around. And he gave it a shot, and lo and behold, it worked.
It did?
Swears by it. Swears by it. Too.
Huh.
I'm still too reluctant to try, but I'll take Dante's words for it.
If you have a spare microwave, yes, try it in that one. Don't use it in the one that you really cook food in.
If you have a perfectly great UV chamber, you probably don't need the microwave, right?
Yeah, I do have like a UV chamber. It's like it's in the corner, and I don't feel like moving it. And it's like,
is it the paint can?
So my UV chamber is a foam core box with aluminum foil and UV lights from Amazon in there, and a turntable in the middle, and that thing rocks.
I wish I could take the camera out to where the printers are, because it's almost that. Mine's an IKEA box that's lined with foil, and it's got the Amazon UVs, and I can probably do 50 prints heads at a time.
Right? Yeah.
Don't need to change
it.
So
I found a trick, right? Where's my trick, right? My box is probably 18 inches by 18 inches, I would say, right? I had a piece of acrylic in my garage, and I was like, oh, it was like the perfect size. So I got a couple like coin stands or whatever I could to elevate it a little bit.
Yeah.
And I put that in there, so it's a little bit off the floor. And now I don't have to use a turntable. I can put all my prints on that acrylic piece, and it gets it from all angles now.
That's a great idea.
So it was a nice little trick I found. I figured out.
I might have to do that. That's a really great hack. I like it.
This is what you come here for, the hacks.
That's what we're here for. That's what I'm saying. So, first tip of the day, guys, a piece of raised acrylic in your UV chamber box.
Yeah.
And it hits it from all angles. As long as you got like that foil all over, that reflective surfaces, you're going to be straight.
What are you guys doing for? And this is, I always think about this whenever I'm printing and I'm draining, like I'm doing the tilt draining, and I've always think about researching DIY ways to flip it the other way. So when you're doing heads, right, there's that socket in there. Now you can tilt it, but it still has a pull up in the socket. I want a reverse flip, so the sockets are facing down, so it runs down on the plate. Have you guys seen like an arm adapter where you can actually flip it the other way?
You probably print. There's probably a file out there somewhere you could do an FDM.
Yeah.
And just because I see FDM prints for to hold your vat while it drains, right? And I've been meaning to print that forever, so I got to print one of those.
Do you guys all have FDM printers?
I do. Yeah. I'm FDM and resin, so I do a little bit.
And it broke. I accidentally broke it. It still works, but I accidentally broke it. But I don't know how to use it anymore. So it's just like
it's Lychee broke your FDM printer.
No, this is
Akira.
Come on, man. Gotta give Lychee a chance.
Hey, I'm Lychee Pro all the way.
That's it, man. That's the way to go. It's so it's such a versatile software.
It's way better than not for look, man. I try to use it. I try to print one thing on there, and it did not come out correctly. It didn't even print it right. Actually, it's just like it was good. It was just resin sitting on a plate. I'm like, great, thanks.
You got to finesse. Thanks. You got to finesse it, man.
It's like Star Trek.
I copied my settings that I had in Chitty Box and put it into
you can't copy the settings
now
line for line. It's got to be fine tuned because Lychee is as complex as it is versatile. So you have to make sure you tune it because the supports they link up differently. So you gotta give it a little love,
I'm gonna tell you right now. You better be glad this cup is empty right now.
What's in that cup? What I was gonna ask that earlier.
What was in that cup?
Yeah, what was in that cup?
It was strawberry cheesecake coffee.
Huh.
What? Okay.
Yes. Okay, so the story
we all just kind of accepted it. We're just like,
the story. It was so I was like, there was a nice lady at Fan Expo. She was selling. It's called Merlin's Munchies Coffee, and I was like, all right, cool. I love coffee.
Name.
I like, it was cool. I was like, all right, cool. It's like, she's like, hey, I like coffee. I'm like, what you got here? She's like, well, I got some samples. I forget what the one was, and there was like blueberry flavor. I was like, all right, I tried a blueberry. I said, no, I hold off on a creamer. I was like, I just want to try it just to see how it tastes. Well, I wanted to see how because sometimes when you add more stuff into it, the coffee,
you take away from the flavor of the coffee.
Yeah.
Yes.
You want to taste the coffee.
Right. So I was like, okay, just I'll have it black. I was like, oh, it's good. She's like, you want to put a little cream? She's like, I'll put a little creamer in there for you. I was like, all right, cool. She put a little creamer in there. It enhanced the flavor so much. I was
next
like,
level.
Almost cried. Almost cried from this lady for this coffee. So I was like, all right, you sold me. Let me go ahead and get some coffee. And I was standing there selling coffee to everybody else who came up after I bought my coffee.
Yeah. Bro, word of mouth is the best advertisement, right?
It is.
Yo, I said, if you come back up here next year, let me help you sell some coffee. You call me, and we'll sell some coffee together.
I do it for free.
Right, exactly. As long as I can have free coffee all day, I'm good.
Get her up to Legion's Con.
Oh, man.
There
She was
you go.
all the way from Florida. I was surprised she came up that far.
Oh, dang. I'm gonna say, like, let her make up some like Zelonius Flock brew or Legion of Aether brew or something like that.
We had wine.
Yeah.
We had wine at the last Legion's Cup. Remember?
It wasn't for sale. It wasn't for sale.
I know.
But there was wine.
It was available.
Anthony, the House Seals wine house. Yes.
Yes.
I believe it will be available again this year.
Awesome.
What I'm understanding.
I have a bottle in my little wine rack. So yeah.
Nice.
No, that's one thing I'm not.
How'd you get home with it?
It made it. You put suitcase, just packed it away.
Yeah.
It made it.
I'm always afraid of stuff like that. Like even in a checked bag with the pressure and everything like that. Like I'm so afraid it's just gonna pop or something like that.
That's how you get that tie-dye design. That's how the first person got a tie-dye design. They're like, man, I'm gonna take this wine home.
That's the wine that pops, and then you just got that red wine stain on your folded shirt.
Yep.
Jiminy,
best things happen by accident, right?
Yeah. Everything happened by accident. He's like, yo, look. He's like, let me look at my shirt. Oh man, I messed up. All right, so real quick, before we delve any further, let's see who's in the chat. Yeah. We got Mark Rose. What's going on, Mark? Don Machicciato, congratulations on hitting 1,000 followers on Instagram.
Organic.
Congratulations, sir.
That's incredible.
Organically. He said, just got done putting a layer of Mod Podge and paint on the trees I'm working on. Go check him out. Yeah, Dom does some phenomenal toy photography.
Yeah.
And the trees that he did take a picture of the trees that he was putting out there, and man, they look good.
Nice.
Go ahead.
I was going to ask if you guys know that if Mod Podge, once it's cured or dried, is it waterproof?
Yeah, it's a sealer, so I believe it is.
Okay.
I believe.
I don't know if
it's water soluble.
It is. Okay.
It is.
I'm working on. I need to seal some. I'm making a water fountain, a tabletop water fountain, and so the resin holds up fine, but I got to make sure that the sealer I put on holds up to water. So I need to figure that out.
Yeah. So when I make my signs, I actually seal them because FDM, is porous, right? And you can't get the layer lines that tight. So I actually seal them with spray Mod Podge before I paint them to hold the paint. So.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, so Mod Podge is like that. I didn't know if you're gonna actually have water running on this print.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's a crying Alice from Alice in Wonderland. Her hands are cupped. So I did all the plumbing.
Yeah.
This way.
Oh my god, dude. You kidding me?
Nice.
Yeah, that's the plumbing, and then it runs out from behind her eyes. It runs out behind her eyes and runs down her apron.
The resin, the water would affect the resin though?
No. I tested it. I ran a cup of water with resin pieces.
Oh, are you saying? Oh, you mean for painting and then sealing it with Mod Podge after?
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
Yep.
All right,
yep.
cool.
So I got to make sure that
you don't have to worry about the temperature, but other than that, it should be good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, definitely. Yes, please.
Yeah, this is the basin for it. So she'll end up being in there. With
what printer are you using that's so nice and big like that?
The Mars.
Yeah.
Mars 2 Pros, and then I'm using the ABS.
ABS.
First, I need to go. I'm not sure what upgrade the new ABS is. I see there's a new version, so I'm not sure if it's a viscosity thing or a mixing issue. But I know the old stuff you have to. If you give it a day in your vat, it'll start to separate. Like it'll get the kind of black waves. So I don't know if the new stuff is different or why there is a new one, but you gotta look into that. I think it's maybe $10.
I still see separation in my vats, but I think it's more of a tensile strength kind of additive property that you'll start to see in the new formulas.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, but I get tons of separate. I leave these things in the vat for days sometimes, and it's just
yeah, it's crazy to watch chats on Facebook groups for Elegoo or for resin. Like, how come my prints are doing this, or how long do you have your resin in your vats, and some people would like clean every time. Like, oh yeah, I filter
Can't
my.
do that.
I was like, what? I'll have it like in there for a month. I was like,
Right?
Exactly.
I'll stick my
give it a little
plastic back
stir.
in there, stir it around.
Yeah, just give it a little
It's a little
stir.
bit.
Yeah, man, stir it up a little bit. Get that
Right,
the
right.
particles back going. Yeah.
It's so
Who's
funny.
changing it every day? Like, come on, like how much
Some
hard
people
work
do,
that is.
man.
I can't do that. No, like that.
Unless I have a failed print, like it is like I'm keeping it.
You should see my
Even
plate.
with the print.
You should see my printer plates. They just like a battle damage. They're the original plates. They're just destroyed. And then you see people in chat saying, "Oh yeah, sand them. You got to sand them down. You got it." And like, oh my god, no. I almost think it's better for like adhesion, right? It's like it has more texture for it to.
I had
Right,
to
more
sand mine
surface
down a
area.
little bit because I could not get anything to stick to my bed when
Oh,
I
really?
got it. I have a Anycubic Photon Mono X 4K. I couldn't get anything to stick to that plate for the life of me. And somebody's like, "Oh, just hit it with like some 400 grit, the little wet sand on it." And ever since that, like now, it's like I've broken prints trying to take it off. It's like now I had to learn. All right, now do I get them off the plate? Now I had to heat the plate under like hot water or whatever.
Or exposure
heat
set.
on the-
Exposure
Yeah.
settings need to be different on your first layers. Could be.
Yeah, I've
Wow.
changed a few of those. I've gotten better at it, but in the beginning, like I was breaking stuff trying to get it off the plate. I was like, okay, well, it worked.
Dude, when
Yeah.
you're first printing, it's crazy to try to figure out all the dynamics of, you know, I'll tell you guys, my goal, my very first head that I ever printed was to take all the supports off within 2 minutes on one head. I was clipping each one, little support, each little thing. I was like, my goal, if I can get in production to do VonBurkeStudios, if I can get these down to 2 minutes per head, I'm golden. And now it's like,
twist.
Right, exactly.
I love that sound. It's just so satisfying.
Oh, so satisfying. All those little snaps. Yeah.
Yep.
So good.
We should do a support removing ASMR. Like just 10 hours of just removing prints.
That's not a bad idea, dude.
Not a bad
Get it nice and close to the camera with a nice microphone. Just
hey, you guys aren't on TikTok. Maybe you should do TikTok. That should be your new TikTok channel.
No, I'm not getting on TikTok. only thing I want TikTok is my watch. I'm like, oh, my watch is TikToking. Okay, that's it. Yeah, I'm that. No, I'm not. I'm not TikToking anything. Yeah, that's the only thing I want. TikTok. Yep, that's it.
There you
TikTok.
go.
I love that. Was my Father's Day gift.
Spider-Man. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
How about those new Spider-Man that released? The Gwen? What's the new Gwen?
Oh, Sentinel.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Super cool looking.
Yeah.
I was on the fence against her. I might reconsider.
Like I have the SHF one. Like I've got the Spider-Verse one, the Hasbro, and I'm like, do I really need that Sentinel one? Like.
Yes, right. I'm telling you, Sentinel. Like so.
Bro, you don't have to sell me on Sentinel. I know all about it.
Sentinel, yeah, Sentinel's great because when everybody else I got that Miles Morales, that first one, it's a Spider-Verse that Miles Morales. They were like, oh, SHF was great. Then it was like, oh, the Mofex one's great. And then when Sentinel dropped, they were like, this is the definitive one. I was like, yeah, that's the one I got. I was like, I'm cool. I didn't get any other ones. I was like, I got that Sentinel one, GameStop price. It was really low. I was like, this is it. I got it. I was like, man, I'm in love with this figure.
I haven't owned any of them, but the articulation looks amazing.
So
I'm stoked for it.
Hold on. I can grab it real quick.
Yeah.
Behind me.
I worry about the fragile state of things when it comes to Sentinel.
Ooh, look at
like
that.
the fighting armor. I love these fighting armor ones.
Good
they have a Wolverine one. This is obviously the.
That's amazing, man.
Iron
Spider-Man is the best.
So shiny.
Yeah.
This is the one. This is the best, and they're metal. This is metal on here too. Like it's metal over plastic. Like these are plastic, but some of these pieces are metal, and I mean you can make them look straight up. The posability on these things are just so good.
What are those
so you don't gotta
cost?
tell me.
What's the cost on something like that?
$100.
Wow, that's incredible.
Which is not bad, and the stand is great.
Yeah.
The articulation is just fantastic.
Yeah, that's incredible. I love it.
Very fun. You make it flying. Like, yeah, these are great.
Wow.
But yeah, so the other ones like Gwen and all those other ones, you're gonna get the same level of great articulation. It's just
cool.
That's just what Sentinel is known for.
Okay, I'm excited.
So this is the
there you go, Peter B.
Yep. Yeah, look at that, dude.
He's like the definitive Spider-Man. Like even if you don't like Peter B, like just that with the hood.
Yeah.
I almost got him. Matthew Toy was selling them for $120 at ToyCon, and I told him, I was like, listen, put it on your table, and if it doesn't sell, I'll pick it up. But it sold within minutes because that price was sick.
So what do you think about that shape where the calf rests into that indent on the back of his hamstring? Do you like that look? Is that,
see how it's got a dip?
Do you like that?
Yeah, I didn't notice that until you just mentioned it.
It rests right inside there for
That looks natural like that.
Yeah.
But the straight leg, turn it around, Dante.
Yeah, see? That's what I'm saying. It looks kind of off.
Turn it around. No, let's see the straight leg, the back of that leg.
Back of that leg.
I'm pointing at the screen like you can see me. Yeah, see, it's got that dip there.
It seems
like there's no hamstring.
Right. Yeah. But they had to do that for the articulation, I see. But it just
they had to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's more like how he was like in
roller poses.
Yeah. But
yeah, like
it's great.
I didn't see it. I didn't notice until you mentioned it. So it's what we overlook. There's certain things people overlook that other people see.
Oh God.
Hey Dante, did you give Peter B some of that flavored coffee you were drinking?
I did.
That reminds me of Vapor. That last guy reminds me of Mezco Vapor a little bit. That guy, that's his buddy.
Miles, yeah, he's very vaporish. Bro, you can take that Peter B, put it on that chick, I don't want to say chick, on that woman's table, and with the coffee, right, and make a little 112 coffee bag, right?
There it is.
I'm out of coffee,
and that brings her right into the fray of the action figure community now.
Yep.
Brilliant. Coffee. It's all branding.
Dante, you're probably never going to see her again, man.
No, she did give me her information though. So I was like, look, I'm going to promote you on the show. I was like, I have to because the coffee is that good. Plus, they have like a little audio video that goes with it.
Oh, for real?
Like a jingle?
So they got a little thing going on with it?
Yeah, it's like a little video for it's called Merlin's Coffee. Like it's like how he starts gets into making brewing coffee.
Merlin, like the magician?
Yeah.
Oh, so she's already halfway into Mythic Legions now.
There you go.
That is true. I didn't think about it now that you say that. I'll have to email her that. I'm like, yeah, can you sponsor the show? And
make sure you don't call a wizard a magician though.
There's still a few tables left at Legions Con. Email went out today. There's still a few tables left in the side room now. They added a whole nother room.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so the main ballroom now is like twice as big as last year's, but now they have a whole separate section that they can take has a folding door, like an accordion door.
Wow.
That section that they've opened up is as big as the floor we were in last year for Legion's Con. So you have almost, it's going to be gigantic, man. Gigantic. Just the side room is as big as last year's Legion's Con, not to mention what the main ballroom is that we're going to be in.
It's grown so much over the past few years.
5 years, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I think I'm more excited for Legion's Con than New York Comic Con itself.
Yeah, maybe.
Same.
Especially now that you're hearing like Marvel's pulling out, all these movie studios are pulling out of San Diego. There's no presence. There's no Disney. There's no Marvel. There's no Star Wars.
Why is that? What happened?
Who knows?
Oh, okay.
I think it's because Disney is going to start doing its own, like they do D23. I think they're going to start making it a bigger thing.
Okay.
And they're going to have, that's where they're going to have, plus you got the Writers Guild strike, right? You've got the Kang, fiasco, so there's all kinds of things going on at Disney right now. I think that they're going to have something big. They're going to do their own thing. That's my opinion, at least.
Yeah.
A lot of companies have done that. Like even with E3, where it used to be like the big.
They canceled E3 now because everybody backed out. Xbox, Sony, Microsoft.
Forgot about E3. Wow.
Everybody backed out of E3 and they just shut it down.
Well, because everybody was doing their own thing online. Sony was like, "Hey, we'll do our own state of play. Like we don't need you now. Like the internet's big. Like we see now the internet is a place where we can do it. The pandemic has set everybody yo, we don't need to pay all this money to do this.
Yeah,
we can do it ourselves."
The pandemic did that because they showed that people will still tune in to a virtual conference than having to spend all that overhead to do all this fancy booth stuff and everything else. That people just tune in. So that's what they're doing.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it's true.
So real quick, we'll go finish going through these. Greg says it's crazy makers of IE creators. 16 Shooter says, look at this crew, Mr. Trevor himself. Trev, we still need to get that cup of coffee though.
What's up, Trev?
Not the blueberry.
Yes, we're getting blueberry. Art with Toy says Dante with the Wawa shirt on. Thank you. Yes, Wawa shirt. Dom says I'm a fan of Five Guys. Justin Collect says, hey guys, Unboxing Art says I definitely need some D Blake in my life. Don't we all? We all need to treat ourselves. Unboxing Art says I tried blueberry coffee. It was rough. Some flavors just don't work well. I really think it depends on who makes who makes that coffee, who grinds up those beans with the flavor. Because sometimes blueberry does not work with
blueberry is a very distinct flavor.
It is. It's a strong, nice flavor, but with the one I'm talking about, Merlin's Munchies, it was very well done. It's not like the Dunkin' Donuts one, which is kind of Like I had theirs and it was like
That's gross. That was nasty.
162 says blueberry, no thanks. You know what, Trevor? No, we might not get that coffee. John says nothing like fine wine with your legions. 160 says, is that Ilya? Ilya is Ilya?
Ilya's brew.
See?
Instead of brew.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Instead of broom, yeah.
Tom says, back in the day, we used to put Sopresta in our socks coming home from Italy. I don't know Sopresta.
Sopressata.
I
love Sopressata. It's good stuff.
That's Sopresta. This is like a cleaning agent.
Oh no, I didn't know what it is. Like, look, I didn't know. I'm doing the best.
It sounds like a rifle attachment. The Sopresta.
Yeah.
Sopresta.
Who was taught me to sound out my words before I try to say them? I was like, Sopresta.
Sopressata. Sopressata.
Rasper said you're gonna put some more red food coloring in the water when it's running, right?
He was asking Brian about the fountain. You're gonna put red in the fountain? She's gonna be crying blood
during Halloween. Yeah. During Halloween,
Yeah.
for sure.
I wonder if you could put like a glow stick liquid in there.
Ooh.
Right? And make it that neon glow and just make it just pouring that glow fluid.
Right.
Yeah.
Or how about some dry ice?
Get some bubbling going on at the bottom.
Yeah.
Totally need that. Yeah. I wonder though if the cooling effect of the dry ice would make it too cold. Would that affect the plumbing or the resin?
I don't.
Maybe make it a little too viscous.
That could be.
I've not too cold though. It just
cold. Because dry ice is not really cold. It's just like it's already dry.
But it still cools. Doesn't it cool the water? Like it's still gonna cool the water as it evaporates.
Oh yeah. That's true. It may.
I mean, it's ice. It's still ice. It's cold.
The rubber hose at the bottom might get brittle and break.
That's what I'm saying. Like it might affect the rubber if it's too cold. I don't know.
Yeah. Speaking of 160, do you guys remember this? Do you remember this custom I made for?
Oh yeah,
this was the 6 Slayer crossbow. That was
such a great piece, man.
That's
tribute to Trevor himself. But yeah, it's got 6 bolts in the clip too. The 6 Slayer.
So that clip comes out and the bolts are in there?
No, I just designed it to look like they had.
That's how you can see 6 in there. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, no, because you've got Millworks. Is that the guy who makes those the 112 guns, and he actually makes little clips and suppressors and everything else. Dude, he makes it like the scope is adjustable, the buttstock is adjustable. He can chamber stuff, and he's got the clips that go in and out of the pieces. I'm like, bro, that's another level.
That's engineering, man.
Yeah,
it's incredible.
Oh, Trevor said, "Hell yeah!" Like he's Stone Cold Steve Austin. Hell yeah.
You know what? I did so much research on firing mechanisms for crossbows. So if you get one of those pieces and take a look at it, it almost looks like you could fire it. Like I was building it, so it would look like it could really fire. So
right.
Oh, it is. It is up close here. It is.
So Brian, tell us a little bit about VonBurkeStudios, man. You know, what is VonBurkeStudios?
Long story short is initially I got into the space of sculpting because I had created these. I used to do really low level traditional sculpts with like Super Sculpey, and I was customizing figures in the 90s when the Power of the Force 2 came out, and so that really got me back into collecting after as a kid having GI Joes and 12-back Star Wars figures, all those kind of things. And so later on in I think 95. When Power of the Force 2 came out, it just really sparked like, okay, here's these initial figures. How can I create a removable helmet Darth Vader, right? How can I? And since then, there's been many versions of that, but I wanted to do, hey, look at that. Look at that. Theocon. He's like my first god. That was like my first god kind of character I had sculpted. And so fast forward to now, you know, as I had found Mythic Legions on a YouTube review, and I wanted to get into some fantasy figures once again, or just get back into action figures. And so I found Mythic Legions and found the Cabal, you know, and so a great community for obviously the #1 Facebook community for Mythic Legions. But I posted a picture, a side-by-side picture between the skeleton soldier and the Silver Knight, and then had the community choose which one was going to be my very first Mythic Legions figure. And so one of the Dustin Carter, one of the members of the Cabal, said, "I'll tell you what," and I didn't know who this guy was. He goes, "You buy that skeleton and I will ship you the Silver Knight for free. It's yours." And I was like, what? So that hooked me. I mean, not only just in the line, I knew I wanted one of those, but then having someone in a community like that support my interest was that it was all over from there. And so, you know, with Mythic Legions, they're built to be modular. So you can swap out all the parts, you know, create these different characters. And so going back to the 90s story of customizing, it just rekindled that, you know, that passion to create new characters. And so it came to be for me to start figuring out how can I do it, which led me into 3D printing and things like that. So that's where it all started. And I launched VonBurkeStudios just over 2 years ago. And it was going back to, you know, the branding concept. I was looking at who was out there creating custom pieces. There was My Action Figure Customs, Wolf King Customs that just kind of was launching too. And then Sebadom with Planetary Dog Toys was doing some stuff. And so I was taking a look and see how they were packaging, or if there was any. Some were just Ziploc bags, right? They were just Ziploc bags and a little bit of, you know, nothing. So I thought, how can I make it look like something where you can just go down to Target and find them on a peg? And I thought maybe I can scale a business to be that, where I was just doing third-party mods for or accessory packs for current figure lines. And so I was trying to think of the end game. How would that look on a peg hook? And that's what created the toppers. There's a little thank you note on the back too for supporting the company and things of that nature. So that's where it really started. It was more of a community-based kind of thing. And this is kind of, I don't tell this story very often. This is just how amazing it was to me about the support. Was my first 3 sculpts was the Mortem Knight. It was this kind of like Death Knight helmet. The Ravon skull, you probably seen, is a Raven skull that's been used across different, you know, characters. And then there was a Verto Orc, which was this vampire orc that I did. And so I didn't know even how much to charge for them. I didn't know if I could even print them, because I think I had one printer in my washroom and I didn't understand. I was trying to get down to 2-minute, you know, pops off the support. And so I just didn't know how it was going to scale. So I talked to a buddy and he goes, "I'll tell you what, why don't you make 10 and then sell them at whatever price you might think, and then scale it from there. If they sell out really fast, maybe you're underpriced. If they don't sell, then, you know, they don't like your work, you know, where it's going to be." So I created these 3 characters, and then I just posted in the Cabal, you know, these are going to be available. A lot of what people were doing at the time, printer or the third-party makers, were pre-ordering and shipping much later. I wanted to produce like now, like I wanted to be shipped on the fly.
Absolutely.
And so that was my main goal. So knowing those kind of things that I wanted to happen, I didn't know what the response was going to be when I went to market on these 3 figures. So he was saying, you know, sell 10. Judging by the feedback, I thought maybe I could sell 50 of them in that night, you know. And this is no joke, you guys, and this is really crazy. So after the day I went on sale for those 3 heads, I sold 300 pieces pre-order.
Whew.
Yep.
And I was like, whoa. And I'm thinking, I have one printer. It takes me 2 minutes to pop one head off supports. It's in my washroom. It's giving my family headaches. I'm like, now I have all these I have to produce. And it was, you know, when you look at it as a business, that's a good problem to have. Like, I have invoices I need to fulfill, right? So that's a dream for investment if you had to. But I was, you know, thinking to myself, okay, I need to buy 4 printers, and so I need to put these things somewhere. And that's what I did. Is actually I hit the market and started buying printers and learning quicker way. And that's innovation, right? It's like when you have a problem and you need to scale it, that's where innovation starts to happen. You start thinking about, how do I do supports? How do I even clean these things? And oh, dude, you should have seen my setup for cleaning, like my pickle jars, like the pickle agitators, and
it becomes a lean Six Sigma approach. You gotta, do the most with less.
And that's what I had to do. So that was kind of like the high level story of how it all started. Was I thought after that moment that I was onto something, and so the response was awesome. People liked, it was a 2-minute process, like I said, to pop those, but it wasn't just popping them; it was sanding everything down, just trying to get it as ready as a canvas as possible, without the pock marks and any kind of things like that. So. I think when they were shipped quickly, I was up. I would set timers throughout the night, every 3 hours, to print, to pull and wash on that order.
We all do that.
Yeah. And absolutely. So I was doing that, and so to
you don't want that downtime overnight, because that's time to print. I know my print is going to end at 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock, and I got a show coming up in 2 weeks.
See what I'm saying?
I'm getting up at 1 or 2. I'm running downstairs. I'm flipping my print out, hitting print on the next one, and I'm on to the next. And I go back to bed.
Yep. Because that's exactly what it was. And I was thinking, okay, I want to do this 3-day deadline to ship. And I did, I got them out, but I did have to cut the pre-orders. So after that 30 or 300 order, I was just having backlogs saying, okay, I got this first set, this first series is going to be shipped in, 3 business days. And then the next set's going to be this. Thank you so much for the support. So, and then from there, I was just so amazed and honored by the feedback that every time a post came into the Cabal, I was just like, thank you guys so much for supporting this. It's just been an amazing experience. And so I genuinely had such an awesome time with the community with creating some of these characters. And so it just got really intoxicating, creating a canvas for people to paint. And then I started seeing some of these pieces come in, like from Nikki and Dennis,
and it just blows your mind, right?
Yeah, and Tyway Lee was another guy. He was really big in Instagram, and I saw this. I think it was the first professional production shot of one of my pieces. And when you come to LegionsCon, my banners that I have up, the big banners of the VonBurkeStudios, those images are of him. That's his photography on it initially. Really? And I was just like, and I asked him, I say, do you mind if you send me the high resolution photos? So I want to make these banners. And he was like, oh, please. Yeah, and so great. It was things like that started to happen. That was just, it was just insane. It was unbelievable. And so it's just been that since.
Isn't it crazy how such a niche community of Mythic Legions, it's really, in the grand scheme of things, it's a drop in a bucket of water. And it is just such an amazing community of people and supportive and crazy collectors. They go out of town. So I wanted to ask you, Brian, couple things. So when you started, you said you wanted to have a 3-day turnaround, right? You wanted to try to have a fast turnaround, right? Yeah. How soon or how much later in time did you start saying you started pushing that back a little bit, right? Have you ever pushed that back a little bit?
Never have. It's always been evergreen. It's evergreen. Wow. Every order that comes in, it's ready to go. If there's some that I think that are more popular, I'll have an inventory. I'll just have a back inventory of some of these items.
Yeah.
If I anticipate,
you can turn that out quick.
Totally. But then, what's nice about, production and having multiple machines is that I can run whatever size order at any time. And then I just, unless it's a weekend or something's going on, but 3 business days from the order, I try to get it out. If not the same day, I try to bust it out. And
And I think the first time sorry, do you go ahead?
No. Go. Go, Steph.
So I think we began around the same time. And when I came across your work for the first time, I remember thinking to myself, this is a lot different than what we're typically seeing in the Cabal. We're seeing a lot of, standard medieval, inspired kind of pieces, but yours had this deep space, ancient religion quality to it. It was something out of a.
I'm quoting that. I like that.
It was extremely unique. It had a healthy blend of sci-fi as well as the Mythic Legions medieval theme, and I just remember thinking, these pieces are so, aesthetically pleasing because they don't quite mesh the way everything else does. So you have a great combination of that cosmic and mythic. So
nice.
And I was telling a friend the other day, you know, once cosmic drops, everyone's gonna be running to your shop because those pieces just work perfectly.
Well, cool.
End of July.
Yeah. Well, thanks for saying that, man.
Perfect awesome. Amalgam of mythic and cosmic, and I happen to have a VonBurkeStudios.
I saw that on the website. Yeah, let's go in. Can we go into that a little bit more? Like, what is a VonBurkeStudios?
Yeah, tell us about the subscription.
Yeah, so just over about 2 years ago, actually, I think VonBurkeStudios, we're 3 years in. Oh, here we go. Look at that. See that sleeve? And we got the contents. There you go. That sleeve there is Emil Wickman. You guys might know who he is.
Emil is so good.
Yeah, he's great. He designs the box art. Has a little story on the back. If you turn it one more time in the back, we have this little holographic seal. There's like this little sticker on the back that we seal each box with, a little bit of branding, a little
nice
bling
touch
there. But that's Emil's work right there. That's a challenge for, VonBurkeStudios is a challenge for all of us because we have to come up with something new, a new theme every 3 months and the new sculpt every month within that 3 months period. So Emil's creating these box sleeves for VonBurkeStudios. And then it's kind of like you get a sticker with it as well. You get 2 heads. One, so our theme right now is the apocalypse. It's a 3-month season, and we're doing death. This month is famine, and then the next one is going to be war. And so basically what happens is with those themes, Emil and I secretly, we don't show each other what we're doing or concept sketches. We will sculpt a character based on those themes. So it's almost like kind of a battle. Like it's kind of like a head-to-head battle on creating these different items. And they're a mystery. We don't let anyone know what they are until they open the box when it's shipped to them. And
that's fun, though. That's the fun of it.
Yeah, it's this little mystery kind of thing that happens. And yeah, that's Emil's right there. That thing's sharp. Be careful. You can hurt yourself on those horns.
Yeah.
It's actually extremely sharp. It's let me get this head on a body real quick.
Yeah. So and what's really interesting about these as well, look at that.
That's so sick.
Mm-hmm. They retire. We retire each of those sculpts at the end of each month. So they don't sell, we don't trade. The only time they'll be reproduced is if we have to replace one that's broken. If someone breaks a horn off, I'll just ship them one, right? Nice. So in that case, then we will produce for it. But people trade among themselves. So I have a Facebook page called VonBurkeStudios Coven. So within that space, people will post up, say, hey, do you have this VonBurkeStudios ahead from this series? And then people will trade amongst themselves. But that's a promise I made. I'm very vocal about that promise that they're exclusive and that will never.
Yeah, you have to be. That's what makes them desirable.
The moment I don't do that, that slips, the whole thing just goes away. Like it'll vaporize the whole concept.
It becomes common. It becomes, you can get it anytime. Like, exactly. Okay, well, there's nothing special about it anymore. No, you got to have that exclusivity. Totally.
What's really fun is to see them on eBay. I know the scalping price sucks, but it's interesting to see the prices some of them go for.
Yeah, dude. I mean, that's crazy that, you're like, I don't know, that's kind of cool. I think in my eyes, like, dang, like that's something I made. And look, it's so desirable and it's so exclusive that it's now fetching this kind of price. Yeah. Are you crazy? Like, that's awesome.
And what I love about that is it shows that we are holding to that commitment.
Are the boxes are the VonBurkeStudios made to order, or do you keep an inventory of them where, so say like this past one, that's death. What's the deadline for that? Like, is that done over? That's over and it's done now. So there's no way that I could purchase that. But do you have like death boxes that are like left over that like maybe you would take to Allegiance Con or something and put on the table as an offering?
No, I don't sell them outside of the subscription, so they'll only stay within. And they're all made to order for sure. I try to produce, cut down on costs. I mean, when you,
that's why I ask, because like you want to try to have them ready, but you don't know how many to make, right? Yeah. So like, how many do you feel like? Do you just kind of set a deadline of say 20 and say if I need to fill 5 more, then I fill 5 more?
Yeah, at midnight on the last day of the month, I take a snapshot of all the subscriptions that just happened, and then I make a mental note of production that's going to go forward. And then I'm usually within 4 or 5 heads, depending on the build plate, on how it's all lined up.
Yeah.
And with the size of the heads in excess of what I produce. I really try to keep that, even though it's like 24 cents a piece, it can be up to whatever it's going to be.
Yeah.
Just keep an eye on that. I think makes a pretty big difference. And so they're all made to order. But I had a situation last month where one of the very first VonBurkeStudios subscriber, it's like his very first box, he had inputted the address incorrectly on the site and it got shipped somewhere else. And he wrote me, he's like, oh, whatever. And so he said, if it gets returned back to you, can you reship to this new address? I said, no, don't worry about it. I said, what's your new address? I'm shipping right now. And I just so happen to have 1 of one head and 3 of the other one. And I just packaged it, sent it right. Here's your tracking number. Boom, it's out. I don't want you to wait on it. And then I got that box later, and now that could be a little surplus and helping someone out too. But yeah, no, it's all based on order. But yeah, so right now we're in famine. So Emil and I are creating this crazy creature that's going to be famine styled, and then at the end of this month, there's no more orders. It's done at that point, and then I take 5 business days, 6 business days to produce all the printing, the paperwork, assembling the boxes, everything, and it ships out within a week. 5 business days, 6 business days, whatever it's going to be, of the next following month. So it's a pre-order, and there's a little bit of a lag to get everything assembled and shipped out. Mm-hmm. It's the only piece that I can't do within 3 days of an order because it's massive. It's not just a few.
It's a huge undertaking. That's why I had those questions about how much do you make in surplus, how are you anticipating this? Yeah, because
you have, and on top of that, there's 2 boxes. There's the one that was shown, that's the unpainted version, but I also do a painted version. It's called the Pro box, and so there's that. So I got to paint those, and so I have.
You're doing the painting.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I have 24 that I do per month that are painted. So that takes up some time of that week, that 5 business days. And then, at times the subscriptions kind of go up and down based on what people are interested. They might not like skulls. They may not like the game. So we hover from 50 subscriptions to, 30s, 40s. It just kind of depends on the season and what's going on with it. But
do you offer a preview of any sort that shows the theme is death? You would imagine it's got some skulls and stuff in it. Famine, you would imagine, has some sort of pestilence or a zombie type look. So I didn't know if maybe you just I remember the days of Loot Crate, right? They'd show you one item and say, hey, this is that one. This is one item that's in the box. You can assume that other things in this box will have this type of look or theme. I don't know if that was something that you offered as completely blind box.
Yeah, it is. We used to, and I'd like to do this more. We used to do a silhouetted image that hinted to what it was. It would just have the lighting just right behind, like a rim light, right behind where you can kind of see right here in the outline. But those take a lot,
it's a lot. It's production, man.
Yeah. But I wish I had more time to do little peaks that. But yeah. So that's it in a nutshell. Yeah.
Honestly, I think the way you're doing it now adds a lot of mystique to the pieces. For instance, I had no idea what was in this death box. I actually picked it up from Simon Barreto yesterday. I was like, yes, this is perfect because I missed out on Season of Heroes and I was down in the dumps. I was like, man, I'm never going to get a box now. But then he came through, he hooked me up, and I actually opened it for the first time today. And I'm like, wow.
Awesome.
Wow. And I had been waiting for something to use with the Eventide. Poems, and I'm just blown away right now.
I appreciate
such an incredible piece. Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Sorry, real quick, gentlemen. If I do disappear, it's because it's thunder and lightning outside. So
we got bad storms here in Jersey.
Really?
Bad storms. I was power washing this morning, and I'm for real. I'm on the roof of my garage trying to get the side of my house, and it just opened up downpour. And my wife's like, "Get down!" I was like, I am not getting. I am drenched right now. Why stop now? Why stop?
You got a power washer rod up in the sky. What the thunder?
Yeah, pretty much. I have a lightning rod in my hand. I was like, I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna get. Then what am I gonna do? I'm gonna go downstairs. I'm gonna dry off. The sun's gonna come back out. Sure enough, I finished up at the top of the garage. I got down because I have to take the ladder, go down to the shed, and then the ladder off the shed and down onto the ground. I said, as soon as my foot touches this ground, the sun is gonna come out and the rain's gonna stop. And sure enough, it did. And that's what.
Of course, Murphy's Law.
We're having bad storms here in PA and Jersey right now.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy, but that's.
But that is, it's awesome, Brian. Like it's I love to see the psyche and the inside of the production. Like that's kind of what we're about here. Is like to know the behind the scenes of what you're doing and how you're doing it all.
Thanks. I got new stickers. Working on new round stickers that are 3-inch stickers, multicolor. That'll be included in each Von box now. I went with this company for the my current stickers, and I have a whole bunch of them. So I just got tired.
I'm gonna tell you.
They're not the best stickers in the
world. Sticky brand. Go to the Sticky brand. I've gotten at least 6 people to use them now. Their prices are crazy.
Not Sticker Mule?
Sticker Mule's okay. Mule's good, but the Sticky brand right now you can get like 100 3-inch stickers for like $39.
Whoa!
Like their prices are insane, and their sticker quality is tremendous. Okay. Everybody has my stickers. They're like, dude, they're the nicest stickers. They're waterproof. You know,
glad I brought that up.
They're really good. Yeah, man. I've gotten like 5 or 6 other people start using them, and they're like, man, what a difference from what I was using. And the prices, again, they're always having sales. Follow them on Instagram or sign up for their newsletter. And they're always like, they'll send you a text message saying right now they have 4-inch stickers, like 200 4-inch stickers for like $60, which. I mean, if you're buying stickers a lot, you know stickers are not cheap, but their prices for the quality are astronomical. So
okay, that's good to know. That's good. I'm waiting till we get back from vacation to have anything. I'm ordering new printers. I got new printers. Coming 3D printers. I got new.
What are you doing with the old ones? Just keeping them going?
I'll probably sell them. I mean, I'll probably keep a couple for backups because I'm going with. The Mars 2 Pros to probably the 3s or 3 Pros or whatever it's going to be. And then maybe I don't have a large format. Like I don't have the Saturn yet. And so I'd like to get one just for after doing the this water fountain piece. It really send them your way. I'll bring them to Legion's Con.
Welcome to the Saturn.
Did you print? What orientation did you print that large basin for your Mars?
No, so that basin is actually not. It's from a different fountain.
Oh. Yeah, that's what I was asking. Yeah, before when I was saying, well, what printer did you print that giant basin from? Like, you said Mars. I'm like, how the hell did he fit that in the Mars? Like, what is it? Pieces? Like, what orientation did he do that in?
So I had to check this out. This was at Legion's Con. This is one of my head sculpts that was printed, but this was on a Jupiter. Will Niemer, he's in the Cabal. He lives up in Beaverton, just like 20 minutes from me, and so he's got a Jupiter and was able to print this. This was one of my newer Mortem Night. So
it's hollow, I hope, right? What's the infill? Oh, there you go. Perfect. Okay.
Oh, for sure.
You kill somebody with that thing, man.
It's heavy. But yeah, so after printing that fountain piece, I was like, I might need to get into a Saturn because this is fun. You know what I was afraid of? It's so interesting when you're in 3D printing, like you get so boxed into only this dimension. Like I didn't even think about this fountain or this character right here is the largest print I've ever done, right? But the reason that what held me back was understanding what supports look like on a big model and opposed to a 112 head. And the uncertainty of it was just my comfort zone was just being in that. And so when I committed myself for this commission piece, I was like, you know what? I normally wouldn't take this on because it freaks me out of how to change settings and, going with a little bit thicker, layer thickness and then understanding, supports at that scale of the model. But now that I've done it, now I'm thinking I want a Saturn now. I want a bigger print. I want to see what else I can do. And so,
yeah, man, absolutely.
Yeah. So
I think that's how we all I started making posable chains and webs and tendrils for action figures. And the sales I did in that in Facebook groups basically is what I started. And I bought my first Ender 3, for $100,
Yeah.
And then I was like, this isn't great. And I just wanted to make cool things for myself, like a desk caddy and a battery holder. And then I went from there and I just started making other things and making signs, and they blew up from there. Then
Is that your chain?
Went to resin. That's his chain. Yeah, look at that chain,
Yeah.
dude. That's crazy.
This is something I just fooled around. But this is also thanks to Steph and Damien as well. They helped me.
That
Get
is
the colors
cool.
a little bit right where I needed to.
Nice. That's
show
amazing.
him how long that chain is, Dante. I know it took you a long time to wrap it up there. I'm gonna make you pull it off now. He printed this all in one coil.
See, I was gonna ask, like, yeah, that would have to be like in a tube, right? And then you break it apart, and it just comes apart into a full chain.
No, it was just printed in the coil.
He just printed
Just
a coil on
flat
the bed.
serpentine.
Was it on the bed? You printed right on the bed, or you actually printed a support on the coil?
There was support. I had supports on.
Wow.
So you raised it off of the bed like 5 mil or so. Yeah.
5 mil.
Probably,
it's so weird. That's everything's 5 mil for me. Like everything else.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
So here's what's
my supports won't generate unless I start at 5 mil. Like if I hit 2 or 3,
I live in such a vacuum, you guys. I don't talk to other 3D printers very often, and the things we talk about, like the quick twists and the 5 millimeter, it's so crazy to hear that it's like a standard lingo. I'm like, what? I thought it was just me that knew that stuff. It's just
how long is that, Dante? It's got like 28 inches, right?
Oh my god.
Probably.
That's crazy.
We're gonna be blinging at Legion's now. We're gonna all print some chains.
We're gonna be wearing 3D printed chains.
Gotta find a good mold.
Skulls. With Brian's skulls hanging from
It'll just be like this. We'll like, yo,
we'll get Steph's swords. We'll get Steph's swords hanging from them. Brian's skulls hanging. Dude, bro, we got the new Pandora. We're the new Pandora, right? Dante makes the chains, right? We sell charms. Dante sells the chain, and then everybody sells charms for the chains.
There
now.
it is.
That's it.
I'm gonna pierce my ears and get some gauges going. 3D print some gauges.
For real.
There you go.
Just be like, like, hey, I got these on.
That chain is amazing.
It's great, right?
So cool.
And he never printed another one after. He said, "I'm done. Like it's my magnum opus. It works. That's a wrap."
You know what I've always been attracted to those FDM lizards that right on the plane, and you pop them and they move.
And they're all like, yeah.
Those are cool.
My daughter wants me to make one of those axolotls so bad. Like I have the rainbow filament and everything.
Oh yeah.
And I just got my new Neptune 3 Pro Max, which has got like a 17-inch bed. Jeez. So she's like, Daddy, I want you to make me a life-size unicorn head, and I want you to make me a giant axolotl. I'm like, babe, that takes time, right? That's like a 25 to 30-hour print, Like I got shows coming up, babe.
That's incredible.
But yeah, dude, it's fun. Yeah, I love Dante. Like he's getting back. He's like, I'm never taking this thing off again. Not tempting fate. Not trying to make another one.
Next show too.
Next show he's got to unwind it again.
I've been lazy. That's all it is. It's just laziness. That's all it comes down to. It's just being lazy.
It's a nice chain, bro. That would go real good with that Mezco.
Yeah, that is true. I forgot about that Mezco Ghost Rider.
Mm-hmm.
I really did.
Yeah.
So Brian, what do you collect besides Legions? What's your collection like? What are you into?
Yeah, Mezco's what turned me on. I'm a skulls guy, so pink skulls. Of course, I'm gonna walk into Mezco, trying to find out what pink skulls are, and then at the time, 2 years ago, they were just $800 for the set or something. It was just nuts.
Yeah, it was nuts.
But I got turned on to that pretty early. I was able to snag the White Skull Agent just retail. I didn't even know what it was. I was like, oh, it's a skull. That's cool. And so I bought it for $100, and then come to find out it was like a limited release. And I was like, oh, okay, this is cool. But since then, I've been into the all the monster stuff, all the Rumble Society. So I'm a big Rumble Society fan. I'm not a huge fan of just like the IP, like the studio IP stuff. The Rumble Society has been like my favorite. So there's that. Ooh, what's that?
It's one of my signs, the Rumble Society sign. I put gold on the inside of it.
Did you make that?
Yep.
I like that, dude. That's super cool.
Thank you.
It's really cool. But Mezco, I'm a big into the Mezco, Conan stuff. They have some good fantasy pieces as well. And I like a handful of the McFarlane Warhammer.
Don't bend it. Don't bend it.
Careful.
Bend it.
Oh, snap test. Flex test.
bro.
So-
and it goes straight every
snap.
time, man. It's good.
Yeah.
What resin
Because-
is that? What is
I
that?
was going to
So
go
this
into
is a
that now.
mixture.
We're going to talk about resin.
Oh, nice. But anyways, yeah. So
Mixture-
mostly,
Yeah, sorry,
mostly those. It would be Mezco. I just had to narrow down to a couple. So it's Mythic Legions and Mezco are my main.
Okay.
Yeah, don't get like me. Don't fall down the rabbit hole like I did.
Right.
Is that
There's
your
so much stuff on this
72?
desk
Your
as it is. Yes.
72. That's the flexible resin that Dante's got right there. You mix
It's the good stuff.
They mix it in with their regular resin.
Okay. What's the ratio?
I just kind of play it by ear.
Yeah.
Whatever's left in the vat, just kind of dump it in a little bit, swirl it around.
Like honestly, what I do is because I have so many of the empty, like the gray ones. I think it's I get the Anycubic ones, so I have so empty of them. So I'll pour in the rest of it in, like some of it into there, and then I'll pour a little bit of the TH72, shake it, and then pour it in. So
That's
I'm
incredible.
like, this feels like it's about enough. It's like when you're cooking, like that looks like enough. That feels like about enough
A
seasoning.
little bit of sugar, a little bit of
That's
salt,
okay.
a little dash of pepper.
Exactly. Yeah, this feels about right. And it turns like it really does. It's great. Like I've had this. It has not snapped, and that's thanks to them showing
One
me
of these
on
days,
Instagram.
he's gonna bend that thing as a snap around camera. One of these
Which is
days.
funny. I think it
And
was
that's the
snapped
mic.
here.
Is
If
that
I
the
did it-
mic? Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Stop it. Dante, stop.
You're hurting me.
That's got a good flex.
Every time he does that, look, he gives you goosebumps. Legit.
That's-
Every time. Like,
yeah.
I hate
and it
that.
goes right back.
That's the
Wow.
microwave cured sword too, right?
It's the
Yeah.
microwave.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
That's
Ah,
incredible.
I can't watch that.
I have not printed outside of just my regular Elegoo rigid resins, and the whole idea of like changing exposure times and
Right.
I don't know. I want to. I have a resin actually. I'm going to be testing. It's a you guys might have used it. I can't remember the name of it, but it's the one where you can sock it and it doesn't ash. It's good for like articulation.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The anti-impact. I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah.
Too. It's,
Yeah.
incredible.
It's supposed to be pretty good. I have a bottle of that I want to try out, but I haven't had a chance.
Yeah, let me know how that is because I've seen the
It's great for
videos on that.
prototyping. Really,
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah, is it okay? Because I know Diamond Art has his figures that he's been doing his Patreon, so I might.
I have a little
Now,
Now,
double
what are you
jointed,
using to get that
little
flex?
double
Brian?
jointed elbow I'm working on.
Oh, that's not flex. That's a
I
joint.
can't show that on screen.
Oh,
Might be a little secret project I'm working on, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is regular ABS, so it's ash. It's got a little bit of the
Okay.
dusting on it, so I'm not using that, but I'm going to test out this other stuff. But anyways,
Okay.
The Kool-Aid powder.
yeah, right.
Yes.
Just don't breathe it in.
Yes.
Don't inhale it.
Oh
yeah.
good.
That's great.
But I like the ABS. I mean, I think that it produces good detail and it's strong.
Yeah.
It's not the cheapest in the world. I could probably do just the gray, the Elegoo gray, but I don't know. I've only used the other stuff. Kind of going back to going outside my comfort zone as far as changing resins. We don't really need to. If it's a little bit more, it's okay. And then I'm paying a little bit more for knowing the settings and the timing and the
Exactly. You know what works, so why
yeah.
start over? You
Totally.
pay that little extra for that, convenience.
Unless I need a flex or something. I have thought about the idea of making some kind of a flex recipe on a head where you can actually pop the heads on rather than using like a putty or something. But I don't know how that will work because some people like to use them on different pegs, like neck pegs.
Yeah.
So if it's geared for one style neck, then it kind of eliminates.
I mean, I've always had great success with the hot glue trick. You fill the hole with hot glue and then the peg with some Vaseline.
Yep.
And you just put it on and let it dry. Oh, dude, it works. I've never had a problem with that. I've got they're all packed now, but I've got probably 6 or 7 of them that I've done that for.
Nice.
They're like, "What's the hot glue trick?" And then I tell them, they're like, "Oh my god, I never thought of that."
Mm-hmm. That's
Works
awesome.
beautiful.
So, Bri, if you can, definitely try a bottle of the TH72.
Yes.
It'll give you all of the properties of flexibility, but also it's extremely impact resistant. So you can chuck this thing halfway across the room. If you got butterfingers like me, you're dropping parts everywhere. It's not gonna crack when it hits the ground.
Yeah.
And it doesn't now sometimes that cheaper resin tends to flake after a while. You won't get that with this. It has a great elastic property, and it's really, really good, man.
You have to mix it, or can you use it straight?
Straight up.
Oh, Good.
I like
Okay.
to mix it. I think mixing it makes it last a little bit longer.
Okay.
Because it's not cheap.
dilute the Kool-Aid a little bit.
Because when they
I'm gonna try it out.
Motussin. Put some water in the bottle, shake it up. Motussin.
That's it, man. Yeah.
I'm gonna try
it. Like this is this is a head sculpt that's printed in it.
Okay.
And it's still got some. It's still hard. It
Yeah.
still has a hardness to it.
Okay.
So it's not too bad. Yeah. And you still get a good there's no lines in there.
Yeah.
As well.
You can get good detail like pores if you're going to do some really high level texturing. It'll still come through.
Absolutely.
Okay. Oh, good. I'm excited.
It actually has a lower viscosity compared to a lot of the other types of resin. So I use a lot of like the Ceratec ABS type, smoky black in particular, and I mix it with the Soraya Flex, the Tenacious. And on a day like this where it's like 90 degrees, it's perfect. But I was completely SOL during the winter time because I could not reach a temperature where I wouldn't have at least 20% of my prints fail.
Yeah.
But it's TH72, no mixing required, has all of those properties. It's like the perfect blend. So, on.
I'm gonna play with that. That sounds exciting. Are you guys, speaking of temperatures, are you guys doing any kind of like warming chambers for your printers, or is it no?
Yes. So we had Mario 796 Studios on the show a while back, and he put me on to this this food warmer where he used it to warm his resin. And I'm like, I needed this during the wintertime when I was suffering in my cold prison. And so he uses this to warm figures. He uses it to warm his resin. And it's such a great it's on Amazon for like $50. It's like perfect.
Will it cover a printer, like a whole printer? Like we'll go over a whole printer?
No. So what he was doing, you put the vat in and heats up the resin. And but as far as like insulation, I had I don't know what the material is called, but the stuff that they keep your pizza boxes warm with, that type of
Mylar.
The sleeve, you just put it right over and you're solid.
Okay, that's good.
But it definitely helps, man.
Do you print an enclosure, Brian? Do you use any enclosures?
No. I have mine's out in the garage, but it's pretty well insulated. Like it's a finished garage, so it has insulation. Okay. But it's still, I mean, in the wintertime here in Oregon, we can get down pretty cold, and the ambient temperature out there. If I have a outdoor heater, or it's like a IR heater that plugs in that I usually have to run for several hours before it gets the room
just
to the right.
Get it.
Yeah. So I just kind of run it almost all the time just to keep it at about 70 degrees. I like 70 degrees for my printing area. 65, 70 works. Anything lower than that, I feel like it starts to you get some delamination in there somehow. It's like just the viscosity gets really, really strange. But the warmer, the better. But no, I just use a heater. But I don't feel it's really efficient because I have to run that heater for a long time to get the room to the temp. That I thought of just doing some sort of a box enclosure. I even thought at one time like a hairdryer, right? Just run some sort of thing that just blows hot air.
With a vent and just plug it in there and just let it run.
Totally. So I was just thinking if there's any kind of cool hacks out there that you guys have seen I didn't think about actually just pulling the reservoir out and placing those in a warmer area. That's a great idea.
Yeah, I mean it'll retain the heat long enough to get your first exposure kind of cooking, and then it stays hot. For instance, like I have my two Saturns. One of them is kind of wonky, so it's like always hot. Defect that works in my favor, but that's another story. But when I warmed the resin with my other Saturn, it stayed relatively warm. Constant motion and kind of I guess whatever what is this, aluminum? It's great for heat insulation. So I have no issues.
What are you guys using for large print washing stations? So when you're doing like denatured alcohol or regular alcohol, when you go with a bigger print, how are you guys cleaning those?
So I went to Dollar Tree, and I got the in the Tupperware aisle, they have this massive
that's what I use. That's what I use.
And I got a mesh.
Put the whole bed in there.
Like one of these. Yep. And I cut off the handle, and I just go to town and seal it, dip it.
Okay.
Give it a little shake and start hitting it with the toothbrush. Yeah,
I don't have one that big, but I use same difference. Like I have a tub, like a Tupperware tub, basically, and I use like 90 91% IPA, and I just put that in there, and I'll put the whole bed in, let it kind of soak for a few minutes, give it a little swishy, and then I have like a dishwashing brush basically, and then I'll just give it a quick little scrub like that, and it works good. Yeah, that's exactly what I
Has
do.
IPA come down in price?
It's like $4 a bottle now. It's like $3 a bottle.
You know what? I switched.
You're not going to the right places. Look, the dollar store.
I go to Target.
No, you can't go. No, don't go to Target. See, they'll overprice.
But I feel like the dollar store stuff is like water, though.
No, it's
vodka.
You got to find Family Dollar or Dollar Tree has the good stuff because it's always because they have 91%. And it's always like $1.
That's the other thing. I only see 70% at my Dollar Tree. I never see 91 at my Dollar Tree.
Because you know why? Because you have to catch them on a good day. Now you actually have to catch them on a good day because they're always sold out. They're quick to sell out of those. Like that's where I get mine from. And I was like, I buy like when I see them there, I'm buying like.
Because I've been looking, like I'm looking when I go to Dollar Tree, I'm always looking for like what's new stock, what's something that I can use in the Dollar Tree to make my life easier. Like, oh, this brush, this will work for me, or oh, there's this bin, this Tupperware, this will work for me. I'm always thinking about what can I get at the Dollar Tree. Like, I go through Q-tips like crazy when I'm painting. I need to touch up my paints. So like I have just boxes of Dollar Tree, Q-tips that I just blow through. So like anything I can think of from the Dollar Tree, I'm trying to. So I'm always looking. Like I got the acetone because I use acetone to thin my paints and clean up and stuff because it's an oil-based enamel that I use. So like nothing cleans it except for acetone, right? So I was getting the 32 ounce, whatever it was, from like Lowe's for like $12, right? Meanwhile, the Dollar Tree has that same, acetone in a bottle. It's an 8 ounce for like $1. I was like, so for $4, I get as much as I get at the bottle at Lowe's. But again, in my head, I feel like it doesn't clean as well. I feel, because it's from the Dollar Tree, I always feel like it's not cleaning my brush as well. It does, but in my head,
I used to think that way about denatured alcohol, right? I switched to denatured alcohol during COVID because the regular IPA was so expensive.
Yeah.
And when I first thought about it, I was like, how is it really good? Because you hear about these stories of people using that green clean. Remember the people were trying to figure out Simple Green. I tried that. And oh my gosh, it was terrible.
It was horrible.
It did not work at all. And so then I was like, let me try this denatured alcohol, even though I don't think it's going to work as well. And oh my gosh, I haven't changed since then.
I've heard denatured alcohol is good.
It's really good. I mean, it eats it fast. So
I've heard people use that on epoxy resin. Like if you're pouring resin for a resin cast or something like that, and you get those little bubbles on the top, they say if you put some denatured alcohol in a spray bottle and just give that a spray over the top, it clears out all the bubbles on the top.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
I've seen some YouTube videos of that.
What are the price per ounce then difference between IPA? I mean,
I don't know. I don't even know where to find denatured alcohol.
Oh, you just get it at Home Depot. You get it at Lowe's.
Oh, is that right?
They have it in the cans.
It's by the paint strip, and you get a big giant cans of it.
Okay.
Actually, you know what? I did save on Amazon. Like they were selling like the big bottles of alcohol, and I forget how much it was. Let me see if I can find it because I have it in my list.
Save for later.
If I find it on Amazon,
how many times we put stuff in our cart, and then you go to checkout, you're like, save for later. Save for later. Save for later.
Yeah, right. Yeah. You're like, and not this time. I gotta be like Rhodey. Be like, when I look at the Iron Man suit, maybe next time. Maybe next time.
Right.
Yeah, he's just like. Hold on,
that's funny.
You're going through there.
Yeah, but it's so cool, like just to hear all the different workflows that everyone has for printing and how that happens. And
so we're gonna see you at Legion's Con, I take it, right?
Yes. Oh yeah, like bring the fam. The fam's coming back out again. Got Gigi and my wife, and they're excited to come. Yeah, it's gonna be a blast. I got a nice table. I got an early.
Do you know what table number you picked?
Is it 24? No, what number?
Oh, you got.
Am I right?
Yeah.
Does that sound right? 24?
Yeah, it might be a little legit. Like I was gonna pick 24 or 42, and I went 42 because that's my number. So
I'm on 27. So I'll see you on the.
I think it's.
Oh wow!
Yeah, your neighbors.
There's not a bad spot. There's not going to be a bad spot there.
Center block of tables, right? Right in the kind of the center of the showroom, kind of front.
Right.
It's a left side and a right side, right? I think there's a left row and a right row, but that 24 was like right there, like one row back from the Horseman. I was like,
I think so, yeah.
But I said, you know what? It's not going to be a bad spot in that. People are going to go there and they're going to do laps and laps and laps.
Yeah, exactly. Oh no,
Can't wait.
You're
staying at the hotel. You got your room booked
yeah.
and everything, right?
Yeah. Got the room. We just haven't done the flights yet because we're trying to figure out timeline. I think I'm going to do intern for a day, so I think I'll be.
Oh, okay.
There. Might come in early for that, and then we're going to plan a little bit of time to go to New York, and we like to head over there.
Yeah, that's fun. That's fun.
My daughter
if you're out, you gotta make it. You gotta make a trip out. You gotta go to like Times Square. You know, you gotta do all that.
And all these new cosplay people. Some of these these costumes are insane. I'm like,
the Mythic Legions cosplayers,
dude,
right?
I was like, wow, they're getting so good. It's
amazing,
dude. It's getting,
I can't wait to see those guys at Legions Con. Yeah,
that's when you know when you see cosplayers like that. It's like, geez,
Melissa Somerville's friend Felicia, she cosplayed as Thrace from the Boxus Wave.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude, that's amazing. Incredible. They look like the figure just came out of the box. Like,
oh my gosh,
yeah, it's amazing. They're really well done.
I'm excited. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, can't wait.
New venue.
So I don't have it saved.
Wah wah.
Yeah, I was probably mad that day. I was like, nah, I'm not doing this today.
Later on, Dante's gonna post a story with it. That's okay.
Well, I mean, my big jug of alcohol. Like, yeah,
big jug of alcohol. That's it.
91% alcohol. Here we go.
Oh, those are tough times, man. Remember rubber gloves? How expensive those gloves were? Like,
God, those gloves. Yeah. Well, because of COVID, it's like there was shortage, and all that stuff. Yeah.
It was rough.
Yeah, man. That's why people were moving over to denatured alcohol, and people are using like Everclear. I remember seeing people using like Everclear. No, I'm not even joking, because it was cheaper. I'm not lying.
Right.
Like, I remember seeing that people using like high proof alcohol, like that kind of like spirits, like moonshine stuff, because it was cheaper than denatured alcohol and IPA, because they could just get that, and people were using it to clean. People were using it for their prints, because it's only. You guys can look at that too.
Go blind.
Like, dang,
no joke. Our parties growing up, my mom would take a watermelon, right? And she'd cut open the top, hollow it all out, and take all the fruits from the summer and lemons and cherries and grapes and everything, right? Cut it all up and the balls of lemon, put it all back in there, and then put a bottle and a half of Everclear in there, and then close it up, wrap it up in foil, and leave it for 3 days, right? And then at the party, at our birthday, our summer parties, everybody would have these like solo cups of fruit, and they'd be like, "This is the best fresh fruit I ever had." Like
16th, was that like your 16th birthday party? Sweet 16.
Yeah, dude, it was just growing up. It was just every birthday party in our backyard. Every birthday party,
That's awesome.
Birthday party, any summer party, 4th of July party, anything like that. It was everybody gonna have a watermelon. It's like, yeah, we're gonna have the watermelon.
Yeah. I remember
one year the watermelon disappeared, and then we found like one of my mom's friends, like in the bushes of the neighbor's house, with a watermelon in their arm. Like, but Everclear, man, that's no joke.
Yeah, everyone was in desperate need of like keeping this creative process going. Like, how do we keep creating? And
they find, life finds a way, right?
Yeah. Luckily,
creators find a way.
What I think it happened at such a great time too, because I think people were at home more. And so their creativity was like blossoming. They were painting more. So, for me, as a business, sales were increasing during COVID because people had more time, it seemed, to do that.
Collection blew up. Yeah. Creators blew up.
Yeah.
3D printing and stuff like that. The cost of those machines were becoming much more affordable for people.
Yeah.
And I mean, look at today. They're even less than they were 3 years ago,
I can't believe it.
I mean, you kick yourself because you pay $600 for a printer, and then next year that same printer is like $300. Like, dang, if I just waited, but now the new one's coming out. There's always something new coming out.
Yeah.
So it's like, do you jump on it now? Do you get what's the best now, or do you wait for what's coming out next? Like, am I okay with 4K? Do I want 6K? Am I going to wait for 8K? What's 12K going to look like? Like, when do you stop? It's like TVs, 4K TV, 8K TV. When are you gonna pull that trigger? Like, is it now, or get learning, or do you wait for something better? It's tough.
And they say, even like, it's kind of funny, this is off topic, but with TVs, they say there's only a certain point that we can physically
your eye can see.
You just can't see past 4K.
Yeah.
So they do these things like,
Exactly.
okay, what is that? But then there's, technology like contrast ratios and HDR that make a difference because it's not a
Yeah.
detail issue. My
absolutely.
question about 3D printing in general is I don't, I wish I had the time to really dive into layer height in comparison to resolutions, right? Because it seems like the resolution will go up, but layer heights might stay the same by 0.03, 0.05. So what's happening there is as resolution, what's just changing other than like anti-alias, kind of thing? What's happening with the higher K resolutions in the newer models? Like, what's that actually doing as in quality? I'm curious.
It's definitely the software is adapting to your model. It's recognizing those curves, those details, and it's compensating for the limits of the technology as it is.
Like, think of a sphere. Remember back in the day, N64, a sphere was like a polygon, like a bunch of polygons, but you got a sphere, right? As time goes on, you still get a sphere, but now, I mean, the higher resolution you get, the more smooth you get without any kind of breaks or polygonal, breaks or anything like that. Just like video games where, people's face sculpts in like NBA 2K12, you thought that was the best. You thought that was the best graphics you would ever see in your life, and now you're watching. You're like, I'll be playing like NHL and like NHL 22, and like my wife's like, "Why is hockey on right now?" I'm like, no, it's it looks like you're playing a TV show now. It's like crazy.
But here's what's really interesting too, you guys, is that since I do I use ZBrush as a sculptor.
Yeah.
So to output an STL, you have a maximum of 1 million polygons.
Yeah.
For Shittybox or for Lychee to process when it comes in. Okay.
How are you compressing that? Yeah, because it's got to compress it.
It's got to compress it. But when you look at after you run your whatever the soft with the plugin for ZBrush to knock it down to 1 million polygons. If you zoom in, you can see there's many more, less whatever's going to be. So that translates to the print. So where does the high resolution kick in that solves that poly? Because it doesn't change the polygons in the slicer.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Does that fill in those gaps? Does that say, okay, point A to point B, like instead of a line, make it round, or?
I don't think it's doing that.
Yeah. No,
you're losing a lot. You're losing a lot. I look at a lot of the models I've done in ZBrush, and I get carried away. And before I know it, I'm in a few million. I'm like, damn it.
Yeah,
I got to find a way to maximize the level of detail without going overboard, because I'm going to lose a lot of this when I send it to the printer. And it got to the point where Shittybox was crashing.
Yeah,
because it just couldn't process it.
Yeah,
one of the main reasons I transitioned to Lychee, because it was a little bit better. Especially when you're printing multiple, you can get one on the build plate, but can you do 15 without your software, saying, "Hey, this is beyond my limit"?
And that's what I'm doing. I'm filling my build plate, which has been an interesting dynamic. Having a full build plate with without any breathing room for the resin to move, it creates some really funky things. You'll get really fat bases, and then also people will your base layers will start to separate. And you might think that it's because your resin's not mixing, but what's happened is creating so much suction because it's one gigantic plate of all these bases that's actually what's doing it. It's when you're at the later levels, it's pulling that apart.
And you can hear it too, and you're like, you cringe every time you hear it too, right? You cringe, you're like,
yeah. So it's kind of interesting how that like I said, going back to what I said originally, it's so fun talking to you guys that go through these same kind of problems, right? Yeah. I remember one time, this was fairly recently, I was something I didn't lock my screws down on my vat.
Yep.
And I was like,
whole vat was raised up.
I was like, what is this sound? It's like, it sounded so weird. It was like kokong. I was like, oh my God. And I looked at it, I didn't tighten down.
No, we talked about that before, where I forgot to put the pegs, the whole screw in.
And it came up.
And I hit my print. And I was like, print must be done. It's 4 hours later. And I go back in, and my whole vat is up in the air, like 7 inches up in the air. And I'm like, like I'm so scared to take it down without it like falling and just spilling everywhere, dude.
Have you guys ever dropped a build plate out on your screen, on your LCD?
No.
I have. I did it on my Mars one.
Yeah, the first time I ever used the plastic adjuster thing.
Yeah.
I didn't tighten the knob on the hanger, and it just went teetered off, and it just fell straight down, just shattered that screen.
Shatter, oh man! I got lucky. Mine didn't shatter.
Yeah,
I have an issue right now that I'm just not. It's been like this for 2.5 weeks, and I've just let it sit. But I had a hole in my FEP, and I was printing some Ninja Turtle signs, and they looked nice. And then I looked at the bottom of the S, and they looked all good, and the bottom of the S of them looked like a rat chewed them, and I couldn't figure it out. Like if I showed you, you would be like, "What the hell?" And they were like little chew marks. It almost looked like a rat chewed them. I was like, "How the hell? What's going on with that?" So I took my little popsicle stick and I felt in the vat. I was like, "Oh, okay, so something stuck to the vat." Okay, and I took the vat off, and I had a whole like half. It's all half cured on the screen.
Nightmare.
And I'm just looking at it, and I watched like a few videos, like Uncle Jesse and a couple other guys. They're like, hot sponge with hot water and a plastic squeegee. The heat will help bring it up. And I just have not brought myself to do with it. I'm just
okay.
I need another day for that.
Okay, so this one I can help you with because I've had that happen many times.
Let's go.
This is what you do. You spray a little bit of alcohol on it to loosen it up.
I have. Yes.
Okay.
I've actually put paper towels and I keep spraying the alcohol and just kind of let the paper towels and just let it soak is what I've been doing.
Don't use paper towels because paper towels are rougher they're rough on the screen.
I'm not wiping. I'm just using it as to hold the liquid and just act like a sponge to keep it wet, right? Gotcha. So I'm not wiping. I just put the paper towels down and wet it to let it sit on the cured resin to try to let it penetrate. That's all.
Right. And then you use your little plastic spatula. Yeah. And just kind of just working underneath there a little bit.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
All right.
Just kind of work it. And then once you clean it up and get it all, then you get that spray that I got, that glass cleaner. That'll take care of it.
That glass cleaner. Send me that link again with that glass cleaner you use.
That's from Costco.
I don't care. You said it works. You said you swear by that stuff,
it
right?
Works. It works. It works.
Okay. Do the new Elegoo printers have a protective film on the LCDs now or not? Because if they do, then
that'd be great. They should make. Can you buy like a screen protector that you could just like peel off, like a Saran wrap or something? Like
I just use.
Can you do that? Is that a trick? Can somebody? I'm just thinking, talking out loud.
I just use another FEP. I grab another FEP sheet, lay it down, level it as is. I have no issues. I haven't had a leak in God knows how long. It's
So I'm wondering if anyone's ever done that, like use like a more durable type Saran wrap or a plastic
phone
sheet.
Screen protector,
That's what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
That you can put over that in case something like that happens. You just peel that off, and you're saving yourself a lot of anguish.
Well, the only reason I wouldn't try anything besides FEP is because of the suction. So I tried some clear alternatives before, and I was getting failures. But if you're using another FEP, system recognizes it.
That's what I'm thinking. Like how thick can you go that you still get the curing properties? Mm-hmm. That you're still going to get. You're not going to break that distance.
Or is it going to translate the resolution of the image?
Exactly. Is that going to mess up? Is that going to mess up your?
If it's cloudy, if it's somewhat of a cloudy plastic, it might not do it.
Well, no, if you touch it like with the LED light, it should. If you can see like the logo.
Well, I'm saying like Brian said, is it going to diffuse it more? Can that extra layer slightly diffuse that the LED or the
The only reason why I say I don't think it does because with the Saturn II, when I replaced my LCD screen on there, I think there was like a film, like a plastic film on it, like it's just thin plastic film on there.
Okay.
And it doesn't bother it.
Yeah.
So it has to be like it's got to be.
That's what I'm saying, like Saran wrap. Like a plastic Saran wrap, something like that, or a shrink wrap type deal that you can put on like a shrink wrap, hit it with a little heat gun to make it suck right on there. You know what I'm saying? Like if that's not made yet, we got to figure that out, guys, because that's a market. That's an untapped market.
If you do add anything, I would suggest for any contraception you're putting on your bill, definitely up the exposure, maybe half a second to compensate for your lack of,
that makes sense.
What do you, so let's go. What do you guys start your first few layers at? What's your exposure time?
I think I hover around 50, 60 with maybe like a 5 or 6 second burn-in.
Yeah.
I think yeah,
That sounds about the same.
That sounds about right.
5, 6. Yeah.
I'm opening up Lychee right now to see what that is. I'm curious, but I think the last time I checked was that, because I usually print 0.03, but for the fountains for time, I wanted to try 0.5, and I found that just by changing the layer height, I didn't have to change exposure. It was totally fine.
Yep.
Okay. I didn't know that. I thought you had to
and
change a lot of.
You still get your definition, your quality at that slight difference. Yeah.
And what's nice about the statue or about the water fountain is it's a stone figure, so it doesn't need to look.
It can have some imperfections to it like that. You want it to have a little bit.
Oh, you want to know something? Here's going back to 3D printing. So when I do sculpts, I try to hide my supports within the detail of the sculpt. So if there's an actual like a pore, or there's something that may look like it would be like a little bump that I might miss in cleaning, or when I pop the support, it might make a little divot. I try to do my best to have it kind of at least match up, and to be
meant to do that.
at least amount of symmetry as possible on support, so it looks like they're kind of randomized. That way, if some are missed or I just couldn't fix, that it kind of looks more organic. I would say.
Yeah, leading into vertices and things of that nature. Yeah, I do the same thing.
Tip.
Yeah.
Real quick.
Yeah, because you get that support like on the tip of the nose. That's gonna really stand out.
Teeth, overhanging teeth are like a nightmare. Those things are so you got to support the back of teeth, and it's like I'm at 40 seconds at 0.03, and then lift distance is 5 and lift speed is 60.
And that's on the Mars 3,
Mars 2 Pro,
Mars 2.
But that'll change when I get the Mars 3 machines. But
yeah, you'll find that your exposure may stay the same, but you'll get way faster print at the same.
Really?
Yep.
I'm excited for
Mars
that.
2. Yeah, because my Mars 2 had significantly less exposure than my Mars 1, and even with against my Saturn. But I had a lot of adhesion issues with the Mars 2. So I had to up that from the standard 40 to maybe around 50.
Okay.
But then I was fighting with the build plate, so it was just a nightmare. And it ended up crapping out on me. So RIP Mars 2.
Right.
Before we get out of here, we'll just go over these few quick comments from the chat here real quick. Let's see. We'll get it. Donald's, let's see. We'll go back here a little bit. We have Matt Logic, Paul Morales. Don said, I noticed when I first got the figure, but it helps with the posing worth the sacrifice, talking about the Sentinels. NYC Figure Fanatic says, what's up, fellas? Happy Sunday. Rasper says, bow wrap is your best friend for brining back bottles or styrofoam prep suitcase.
Bringing back. For the wine.
Oh, sorry, bringing back. I'm sorry, yes. Yes. Once Trevor says, still working on my custom figure for those. Dom said, finally put all my R-Star 6 order in yesterday. Tim says, hello, everybody. Don says, my only issue with the hot glue is sometimes the hot glue remelts over here. Art G says, what's up? Hello.
If it's that hot that in your house that your hot glue is remelting.
What's warm?
It's hot, man. Like, get them out of the window, guy. Like, take them out of the car. Right.
Dante's Inferno, baby. Dante's Inferno.
There you go.
I love it.
White Vegeta says, hello, late to the party. He says, my favorite recent find from Dollar Trees was some pens with crystals in them. Dave Orkin says, hey. And your boy Scott Toy says, loving the chat, boys. Very reminiscent of guys working on their car and chatting.
Right? It's not much different.
Right.
I said, we are to a degree, we are mini mechanics. We got to know how to fix our machines.
Speaking of wrenching things, this was something, again, I live in a vacuum, you guys. I don't know if you've experienced this, but I was finding some build plate leveling issues for a little while. I couldn't figure out why it was doing it. And what I found, this was earlier, was usually how I clean my prints is I'll have a like a cafeteria tray. I'll line it with a paper towel. I'll take my build plate off, and this is where I'm going to scrape my print off, right?
Yeah.
What I was doing is I was leaving the plate on the placement mat, the arm, and then I would just hold it and push my metal spatula to pop it. What was happening is it was bending slightly because there's two screws on the elevator, right? There's a front one and a side one. That I wasn't tightening those down enough, and that pressure of pushing the spatula was slightly bending the arm, not bending, but making it off adjustment. So
off kilter. Yeah.
Off kilter. So now I would actually hold the build plate straight up and just hold the plate and then scrape it off without even touching the arm. But it's really weird things that you find that could throw it, and you don't even know it's happening. And so you think it's everything else. It's like checking a bump on your neck and going like on the internet and it's cancer, right?
WebMD.
WebMD.
I'm dying.
You go to WebMD,
Yeah.
find that thing. So then you try everything else and you realize, oh, it was putting pressure on that adjustment arm.
Yeah, something simple.
God, so weird.
It's the same thing. Like I'm 90% more of an FDM guy, right? So like I don't ever want to do anything that's going to put my bed out of level. Like I've got the plate that I can take off. Right. Like I don't scrape off. I take the plate off because I don't want to scrape on the bed. I want to add any pressure that's going to slightly change that spring, change that dial a little bit. Once I got it locked in and I know I got a nice level bed and everything's sticking nice, I'm like,
forget
it. And then when I do start seeing some lifting a little bit or something, like, all right, what happened? Okay, maybe it's just over time. You know, I got like 20 good prints. Okay, that was a good run. Now I just have to fine tune it a little bit, and then I'm back where I need to be.
And it goes back to the comment about like mechanics working on cars, right? It's like it's such like an experience. Like over time, we experience all these problems, right? That now it just takes us minutes to try to diagnose and kind of figure out, and we're back in business.
Going back to your two minutes per head, and now you know you thought 2 minutes per head was like the pinnacle of your capacity, right? Yep. And now it's seconds. You know, like you've learned, and that's what we all do. We've learned so much through trial and error of what works and what doesn't work. And that's why, you know, I love that Dante put this forum together for us, that we can share this with the community and kind of help people that are getting into 3D printing, whether it's FDM resin or, you know, we know some CNC guys, we know some laser printing guys, right? And we can just bring them all in and open up this creativity to everybody and help people learn from our mistakes and get maybe a little bit of a fast track on what works. Exactly.
It's really important. You know, it's kind of funny going back to the whole twisting the supports. That increased my washing volume by a lot. Because I used to, it used to be where I would, going. Dude, I would actually wash supports, like the whole support. I take the pliers, I would cut the base into a square, and then I would wash those, and then
with the supports,
dude, because it was so messy, right? Because all the resin was it was just all over the place. So then I was like, oh, now I learned how to do, you know, twist them off and then just straight product going
like
into
popping them off like grapes, right?
Dude, it's so nice.
Now, is it because of you've gotten better at your placement of your supports, or do you use any kind of heat or anything that helps pop them off? Because I've seen some guys hit it with a little heat gun, and then it literally they almost fall off.
Yeah, it's the placement of supports. You know, when I do the large supports, you know, I like to use as many mediums as I can because I think it's less damaging for the, you know, face of the print. But I'll load up like a bunch of heavies on the base, like the base of the head and the jawline, where I'll do most of it. But I think that adds enough support where everything else is, you know, it's nice because you can take your thumbs and push in, like before you pop and swap it, you can actually take your fingers and crush them and then do the twist. And so it's,
you found that method that works for you. That's
so not only is the placement of the supports or the thickness of the supports, but it's actually how you grip it, you know, and twist it. And that was the thing with Emil's print from the last Von box. Those things came out and they were like just sharp thorns. I was like, oh my God, I can't even get one started to get leverage on other ones. And then I was like, oh, paper towel. I'll just put a paper towel over it and twist it. And it was fine.
Right.
It's interesting, these hacks that we do.
Ouch. Yeah. It's like holding Beetlejuice when he puts all those thorns out.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. Yeah. So it's cool to hear like, you know, like similar stories that we go through.
Exactly.
It's pretty cool.
Now, Brian, I know for a fact that you definitely do this, especially considering you had those leveling issues. You press print and you stand there and you watch the print go down like, you know, you're cooking up something in the microwave and you're just waiting to hear that sound, that perfect swoosh sound that it contacted the screen perfectly and your print is good to go, and you're not going to get that buzzing sound that usually means you got to relevel your build.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm watching it every time. Even though I've done this so many thousands of times, it's the same thing. And I still hear that, you know, I have I'm not sure if it's my lift speed, but I got a decent amount of suction that comes off it, off those base layers. But my ear is tuned to it. Like if it just doesn't sound right, then I just can feel there's something off, something to support or something I don't know what it is, but I just know the sound of these things. And it's really interesting. And what really, you know, if I have an urgent print that I need to get out at a certain time and I'm halfway, maybe an hour and a half into it, I'll sneak out there and listen for it. And I'll say, it's like listen to your child. You peek in like, are they breathing? Okay, they're good. They're good. It's like we have a senior dog. She's a little Shih Tzu. She's 14 years old. And I swear to God, almost every day I look over at her, make sure she's breathing. Like
put a mirror in front of her nose.
Yeah, exactly. And it's the same way with the prints. If it's something sensitive, I'll peek my ear out the door. I'm like, okay, it's go. Yes. I know that sound. Like, it's good. It's moving.
Behind that door, that's like I'm in the basement, right? And it's my office, right? And then that's like our boiler room where like the heater, hot water heater, all that stuff. But I have it all set up for my printers as well because it's a nice temperature controlled area. Yeah. No breezes, nothing, right? So I can hear when I'm working. I work from home too, so I'll start a print and I'll go back and do my work and I'll start a print. I can hear. You just know. You just know something's not right. Yeah. You're like I got to go check it out. And that's when you go in and you're like, you guys ever go out there with a flashlight and try to look under the plate to see? Yeah. You're hoping there's enough gap to see. Yes. To see everything's okay. It's stuck to the field. It's stuck to the bed. All right.
It's on there. Yeah.
I'm with my phone flashlight trying to look in there and see what it. I can see. Okay, we're good.
And I love it when I time it just right, where I think the print's ready. I haven't checked on it in a while. And it doesn't happen very often, but I'll open the door and I'll see the arm going up.
Oh, yeah.
I just knew. I just knew it was happening. And it's all on there. It's great.
It's
even
funny
though the slice always lies to us about the print times, it'll tell you.
Always lies.
Yeah,
lies.
Yeah,
like 2 minutes.
Because when I make my files, when I name my files, I name them of what the name is, like what I'm printing. But then I also put the estimated time on there, so that way when I'm going to hit print, so say I'm doing like an X-Men sign, right? And I know 3 X-Men signs on my 8-inch bed takes 5 hours. I do X-Men. X3 times 3 5H. That's my file name. So when I'm going through my printer, I can say, all right, the time is this. I know I've got 5 hours. If I hit it now, this will finish by 9 o'clock. But it always takes like 4.5 hours or so. So but you learn. But that's how I name all of my stuff. Even on my SLA printer, it says 5.5 hours. I name it. This, that times however many I put on the plate, 9 or 10. Equals 5H, so I know to come back when that's the time, and if I just want to hit print again, I don't have to remember, that took 5 hours, that took 6 hours. So that's
I love hearing what people's file names are, because you should see my sculpts. Like mine, I'm like a description. It's like, okay, this is blah 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 at times 3 on a plate, altered hair, resized or something. It's
right? Well, that's how you know it, right? So when you want to run it again, hey, that's the one I want. Yeah, that's. Yep. We all have our own ways of doing it.
I had an issue with. I was having an issue with Photoshop, and there was a plugin that I downloaded and it just rocked my system. So I contacted Adobe, and they remoted into my system. Right, so let's check it out. You can't figure it out. So they came in. And he started going through my files. He asked if it was okay. And he's like, oh, my God, you are so organized. Like all your files and file names, because we're trying to find this certain plugin folder. He goes, this is the most organized I've seen in a long time. He goes, bravo. But it's all like all my folders are telling me a story as I'm going deeper. And then the file will say that, like you were saying, it's like a sentence saying exactly what's going on with that piece. But I love hearing those.
And you're trying to remember how much can fit on the screen, too, because you're like, I just wrote all that thing, and I can't see half of my description now.
You got to grab that bar. You got to grab that bar and slide over to keep reading. Dude, I love it. I love hearing this stuff because these are conversations I would not have with 99% of the people
exactly.
around me.
No, you can't. I
love this, guys.
We're in our community right now. It's great.
This is so fun.
Well, talking shop.
Thank you for hanging with us. We appreciate you coming on, hanging.
Absolutely.
And talking with us.
So cool.
Before we wrap up out here, we got No Chin says, "What's up, all?" And Pokey7 says, "Saw a post earlier today where someone painted a kayak from Dollar Store all black and looks really good." And then yes, I did. Yeah, I've been seeing those BBQ sets from that people can get.
Yeah, Five Below. I got to check those out. There's barbecue set, 112 barbecue set.
Those look pretty sweet.
Yeah,
I think they're gonna look really cool. Like you get a lot of like Memorial Day shots.
Yeah,
some really cool shots.
July coming up.
Those are
great.
great.
July 4th.
That's awesome.
You know, you get Deadpool flipping some burgers or something. You know.
Yeah. Hey, real quick before we go, what do you guys think about those those new Mega Man figures that are launching?
Jada toys, yes.
From Jada. Oh yeah, I'm about it. I'm all about it. Jada.
I've never bought a Jada
right now.
I've never bought anything from them, but those Mega Mans look legit. Like they look like
they were always like cars. Jada was always about the cars and the you know like tractor trailers and stuff like that. But now, I mean, with these Street Fighter figures, they are the only thing I wish they had some toe hinge. But other than that, these are great figures, man.
Steph, are you doing the Mega Mans?
Oh, without a doubt.
Okay, I'm in on the Mega Man.
Okay,
Cutsman, bro. That the nostalgia and all of that.
Yeah,
you got to.
You can hear the theme song playing now.
Like I'm making Mega Man signs in preparation for it. Like I already got Capcom, you know, but I'm making it all. Yeah, definitely.
Little capsules, print those little capsules.
Yeah, the E's. That's another thing. I got the E's. Yeah, dude, I'm working on all that little stuff.
Gosh, that's I love this, man. This is
fun.
Great.
Brian, tell the fine folks where they can find you at. I did put your website up and pinned it on the comments.
VonBurkeStudios.com. You know, it's easy. It's same thing with all social media at VonBurkeStudios. You can find me there. I have an updated website, brand new website, just updated. There's a little video header that's going on there. Got some new stickers coming, new sculpts as always. VonBox is always rolling every month. You'll see that on the front page. And Legions Con, you know, coming up in November will be out there as well. So I'm stoked to be a part of all of it. So yeah.
Cannot wait. I can't wait for Legions Con.
Definitely appreciate you, brother.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Brian, for coming on, man. It's great. Good times.
Always. Anytime.
Right. If anybody's in the New Jersey area, I will be at the Wayne, New Jersey Toy Show on July 2nd, this coming Saturday. So anyone wants to make the ride up there and come hang out, Dante?
I want to try. Don't try. I'm going to try to make it out there this weekend.
It's going to be a good time.
Don't meet me there. Beat me there. I see.
Oh, this guy.
I like that.
It's a good hour and a half drive. So yeah,
it is a hike. I'm not gonna lie. It's you know, honestly, it's a monthly show. If you got nothing better to do, I'm chill. But if you got better things to do than sit in the car for an hour and a half each way, you know, I wouldn't fault you for not coming. That's it. It's not like ToyCon, you know. Like we have some big shows out here, Brian. Like some big toy shows. And ToyCon was just about 2 weeks ago. It's a weekend show. People come from different states and everything. It's a real big show. But we also have a monthly show. The first weekend of every month, they do a toy show, and you know, some vendors come out, and it's like in a big police athletic league, so it's gymnasium type setting, and we all just set up tables and we sell our wares there. So
that's where the Legions Con #2 was, right?
Yeah. Yes. Wayne.
I was there.
That's where Legions Con. Yep, exactly. That's where it all started. So and so that's where we have the monthly show, and that'll be this Saturday.
Cool. Very cool.
Good times. Did we lose you, Dante? Oh, there he is.
Thunderstorms.
No. Let's see. I don't think if anything else is coming up. I was trying to think of so we'll be back next Sunday. Yeah, that's the first Sunday. Yeah, we'll be back next Sunday. I forgot.
No, next Sunday. Next Sunday is the Wayne show, not Saturday. It's next Sunday.
That's right. It's Sunday. Yes, right. Not next Sunday. So it's Sunday after.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the 9th.
Yes. Yeah, the 9th. Yeah. I can't remember dates. Days just fly by anymore.
Right.
Especially summer vacation, man.
True.
So we'll be back the July 9th for our next show. So tune in for that. As always, Finny Equation podcast will be on Friday. This Friday. We may have a special guest host with us that Friday. But another show is going to be, it's in the works right now, which will be premiering at the last Wednesday of this month. Of July, I should say. Last Wednesday of July. So can't wait to announce that. I gotta finish up the little details on it. But
you're moving and shaking, Dante.
Yeah.
Casting that net. He's casting that IE net.
That's right.
Trying to.
That's awesome.
Trying to grow it to be a lot bigger than what it is already. So
That's great. That's good, man. Corner of the markets.
Thank you again for everybody coming out and watching us and hanging out with us. I appreciate you all. Appreciate Damien. Appreciate Steph. And thank you, Brian, again. I appreciate you for coming and hang out with us.
So much fun. Thank you.
Definitely.
Thanks, guys.
So y'all take care. Have a great week ahead of you. It's going to be a weird week next week because July 4th is on a Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Stay safe, drive safe, eat well.
Yes.
That's right.
Definitely.
Yes.
And happy hunting. If you're hunting for those turtles, happy hunting. Hope you get your turtle.
There you go.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Take care, guys.
Yeah.
See ya.
Cheers, y'all.